The flashbulbs were blinding. Emma's hands were trembling, but she forced a smile as the security guard waved her forward, badge clipped to her coat, clipboard in hand. The noise of the stadium was muffled through the glass tunnel, but her heart pounded louder than the roar outside. It wasn't just any game, it was the AFC Championship, and he was here, Tom Brady. She hadn't slept properly in 3 nights, double-checking logistics for the VIP suite guests, stocking refreshments, handling press passes. As an intern for one of the biggest event coordination firms in Boston, this was her chance to prove herself. She was 23, broke and running on caffeine and adrenaline. "Excuse me?" She turned. He was right there. Tom Brady. Real. Wearing a grey hoodie, walking like this whole place belonged to him. Which, in a way, it did. "I was told to check in with the suite coordinator," he said casually, nodding at her badge. His eyes were kind, but tired. Emma blinked. Yes, absolutely. I'm Emma. You're all set, sir. Just through here." He smiled. "Appreciate it." But then, a commotion. A child, no more than 8, sprinted from the crowd behind the barricades and slipped under the railing. He tripped and fell hard, scraping his knee on the concrete. Without thinking, Emma rushed over. She dropped to her knees, pulling tissues from her pocket and speaking softly to the boy. Hey, it's okay, you're brave, but that knee needs a little love." The cameras turned. She felt the heat of the attention now. Brady had paused too and approached them. Gently, he crouched beside her. "You all right, buddy?" The boy stared up in awe. "Tom Brady?" Tom chuckled. "In the flesh." The photo was everywhere within minutes. Emma crouching beside the boy. Tom Brady at her side, hand on the child's shoulder. Her name wasn't in the caption, but by morning the image had gone viral. What didn't go viral was the email she received at 6:38 a.m. the next day. "Emma, we need to talk. Call ASAP." She called. Her supervisor answered with a voice sharp as ice. "You broke protocol." Emma sat upright in bed. "What? I was helping a child. You abandoned the VIP path. You exposed a client to a potential security risk. You weren't hired to be a hero, Emma. You were hired to do a job." He was hurt. Tom didn't mind. He helped." Her supervisor sighed. "Tom Brady is not your manager. We are, and we need people who follow the rules. I'm sorry, but this just confirms our earlier doubts. We won't be moving forward with your position." The call ended, just like that. She sat there, phone still in hand, staring at the screen like it would rewind time. The apartment was silent. Her roommate had already left for her job at the dental office. Emma could hear the hum of the refrigerator, the distant sound of a siren outside, and her heart pounding. But now for all the wrong reasons. She had no job, no savings. Rent was due in 10 days. She hadn't even told her parents she was interning for free. She'd been hoping to turn it into something full-time. And now? Now she was a footnote in someone else's feel-good story. Her phone buzzed again, an unknown number. She hesitated, then answered. "Emma Harper," a man's voice said. "Yes?" "This is Mark Lewin. I work with Tom Brady. He asked me to reach out. He'd like to speak with you directly. Are you available today?" She blinked. "Wait, what?" Don't miss what happens next. Subscribe and drop a comment if you've ever faced a moment where doing the right thing cost you something big. Emma sat across from the floor-to-ceiling window, hands wrapped around a cup of lukewarm coffee she hadn't touched. The cafe on Tremont Street was all exposed brick and indie music, but none of it registered. She checked the time again. 12:02 p.m. He was late, or maybe she was early. She'd arrived 30 minutes ahead, pacing outside like someone preparing for a job interview she wasn't even sure was real. The door jingled. She turned, half expecting it to be a prank. But there he was. Grey sweatshirt again. Baseball cap pulled low. Sunglasses. Still unmistakably Tom Brady. He spotted her and gave a small wave, walking over with a casual grace that made it feel like this kind of thing happened every day for him. For her, it didn't. "Emma?" he asked. She stood. "Yes." "Hi, Mr. Brady." "Tom's fine," he said, shaking her hand. His grip was firm but not aggressive. He sat down across from her, removing his sunglasses. His eyes were sharper than they looked on TV. Tired, yes, but also deeply focused. "I appreciate you coming," he said. Of course," Emma replied, still unsure what world she'd fallen into. "I wanted to say thank you. You stepped in fast when that kid got hurt. That was the right thing to do." Her throat tightened. "It cost me my job," he nodded slowly. "Yeah, I heard." Emma looked away. "I didn't even think twice. I just saw a kid who needed help. I didn't expect to get punished for that." "That's the thing about systems like the one you worked in," Tom said. "They're rigid, safe, but sometimes doing the human thing breaks the rules. And people like you take the hit." Emma's lip trembled, but she steadied herself. She wouldn't cry in front of him. "I didn't ask you here just to say thanks," he continued. "I've been thinking about something." She leaned in slightly. "I run a foundation. Youth programs, health initiatives. We're growing fast, and I need people on the ground. People with instincts, not just resumes. People who know how to act under pressure." Emma blinked. Are you offering me a job?" He nodded. "Trial period, 3 months. Paid. You'd work with our outreach team in Boston. It's not glamorous, but it matters." Her chest tightened. She opened her mouth, then closed it again. Was this real? "You don't have to say yes right now," Tom said gently. "But you impressed me. You did the right thing in a hard moment. That's rare. I could use someone like that." Emma sat back in her chair. For the first time in days, her spine relaxed. "Honestly, I don't know what to say." "Say you'll think about it." "I will, but—" She took a breath. Yes, I want it." Tom smiled. "Want it." Good. They chatted a bit longer, mostly about the foundation and the people she'd be working with. By the end of it, he'd picked up the check without asking and told her someone would email her onboarding paperwork by the next morning. As he stood to leave, he paused. "One more thing." Emma looked up. "You ever think about what that kid's mom felt when she saw someone kneel down and help him without hesitation?" Emma swallowed. "I didn't think about it until now." "Well, I did, and that's why you're hired." Then he was gone, just like that, blending into the crowd outside like a ghost. Emma sat there, the warmth of possibility slowly creeping back into her chest. Maybe, just maybe, losing everything was exactly what she needed. The office was nothing like she expected. No towering skyline view, no designer desks, just a modest 2-story building near South Boston, tucked between a community center and a bakery. The Brady Foundation's logo was printed on a glass door that squeaked when she pulled it open. Inside, a man with a beard and an oversized flannel looked up from a stack of folders. "Emma Harper." "That's me." He stood, wiping his hands on his jeans. "Caleb Jennings, outreach lead. You're with me." Emma smiled nervously. "Nice to meet you." He nodded and gestured for her to follow. "Come on. Let's get you caught up." The next hour was a blur. Names, faces, quick introductions, and a desk that was more folding table than office furniture. Her inbox was already full of emails from local schools, shelters, and rec centers. The Brady Foundation wasn't just a PR project. It was doing actual work, boots on the ground kind of stuff. At 3:00 p.m., Caleb dropped a folder on her desk. "First assignment, Roxbury Rec Center. Their youth program's underfunded and overcrowded. We're helping restructure it." Emma opened the folder, scanning logistics, volunteer rosters, funding allocations. "You ever work in neighborhoods like this?" he asked. She hesitated. "No, but I want to learn." Caleb studied her for a moment. "That's a good answer. Let's see if you mean it." 2 days later, Emma was standing in the middle of a faded basketball court in Roxbury. The gym buzzed with noise, sneakers squeaking, basketballs bouncing, kids laughing and yelling over one another. It smelled like sweat and old popcorn. A girl about 10 years old ran up to her. "You the new lady from the football guy?" Emma smiled. "Something like that." The girl crossed her arms. "You gonna make us fill out those stupid forms again?" Emma knelt to her level. "Nope. I'm just here to see what you guys need. What's your name?" Jailer. Well, Jailer, what would make this place better? Jailer thought for a second. More snacks and maybe a music room. Emma grinned. How you got it? Later that night, Emma sat at her kitchen table with a pen behind her ear, typing up a proposal. Caleb had told her not to rush, but she couldn't help herself. She wanted this to work, not just for Jailer, but for every kid like her. 3 weeks passed in a blink. Mornings started early, calls with donors, meetings with center staff, weekends spent organizing supply drives. Her nails were chipped, her back ached from lifting folding tables, but she felt alive in a way she hadn't in years. Every night she crashed on her futon, exhausted but full, and every morning she showed up early. At the start of her 4th week, Caleb pulled her aside. You know that proposal you submitted for Roxbury? Emma nodded, heart pounding. We got funding. Fully approved. Music room, after-school snacks, even a paid staff coordinator. Her jaw dropped. Are you serious? You earned it. For a moment she was speechless. Then, do I tell Jailer? Caleb smiled. I think you better. That afternoon, she found Jailer shooting hoops in the rec gym. Hey, superstar, Emma called. Jailer jogged over. What's up? You remember what you said you wanted? Jailer's eyes narrowed. Snacks and a music room. Well, good news, Emma said, crouching to meet her eyes. They're on the way. Jailer lit up. For real? For real. Jailer launched into her arms without warning, nearly knocking Emma over. And for the first time since that awful phone call weeks ago, Emma felt something crack open in her chest. Relief, pride, and the sudden, stunning belief that she belonged here. Emma's phone wouldn't stop buzzing. She was in the middle of organizing a donation drop-off when Caleb waved her over with a weird look on his face. You might want to check Twitter. Emma wiped her hands on her jeans and pulled out her phone. Notifications were exploding. How Boston Chronicle. Remember the woman who helped the injured child at the AFC Championship? She's now leading youth initiatives for the Brady Foundation and making waves. She blinked. Another post from a local blog read, From Fire to Foundation Hero, Emma Harper's Unlikely Journey. Her cheeks flushed. The photo from the stadium had resurfaced, now placed next to a new one of her in a Roxbury hoodie, holding a clipboard and laughing with kids. Someone must have sent it in. She looked up at Caleb. I didn't do this, she said quickly. I know, he replied, but the media did. And now people are watching. By the next day, 3 reporters had emailed her asking for interviews. One even waited outside the rec center. Emma wasn't used to this. She was a behind-the-scenes person. She thrived in the chaos no one saw, not the camera-ready praise. Tom called that evening. You okay? He asked. Emma laughed dryly. Define okay. I feel like I accidentally walked into a spotlight I didn't ask for. You handled the attention before. You'll handle it now. This feels different, she admitted. I just wanted to help people. Now I'm a symbol or something. People are drawn to authenticity. Don't change that, she exhaled. Thanks, Tom. There's one more thing, he added. We're expanding to Providence. I want you to help set up the youth program there. More responsibility, more visibility. Emma's heart skipped. You trust me with that? You earned it. She sat with the offer for hours. It meant more travel, longer days, and putting herself out there even more. But it also meant growing, building, becoming something bigger than just a background player. She accepted the next morning. Providence was a challenge. The neighborhoods were rougher, budgets tighter. But Emma showed up every day, clipboard in one hand, worn sneakers on her feet. She met with community leaders, sat through city council meetings, and listened, really listened, to the teenagers who told her they felt invisible. She gave them music classes, food vouchers, safe places to sit and breathe. But success brought scrutiny. At a public Q&A session hosted at a high school gym, one parent stood and pointed a finger at her. You're just a face for the Brady brand, the woman snapped. You think one good photo makes you some kind of savior? Emma swallowed hard. Cameras were on her, dozens of people watching. No, she said calmly, I'm not here to save anyone. I'm here to listen, learn, and work alongside people who've been doing this longer than me. I didn't grow up here, but I'm here now, and I'll keep showing up. Silence. Then someone clapped. Then another. By the end of the meeting, the applause grew loud enough to drown out the doubt. That night, Emma sat alone in her hotel room, feet propped on the windowsill, staring out at the city lights. Her inbox was full again. More proposals, more progress. She was tired. But it was the kind of tired that came with purpose. She opened a notebook and wrote one sentence. I lost everything doing the right thing. And it turned out to be the best thing I ever did. The stadium was loud again. But this time, Emma wasn't on the sidelines. She stood at midfield, flanked by two teenagers from the Providence program. Jayla, now 13, and Marcus, a soft-spoken high school senior who'd just gotten accepted into college with a full scholarship. The announcer's voice boomed overhead. Please welcome the Brady Foundation Youth Champions and their lead coordinator, Emma Harper. The crowd erupted. Not in the way they had for touchdowns or halftime shows, but it was loud. Loud enough that Emma felt her knees shake. Cameras flashed. Somewhere Tom was clapping in a luxury box. But this moment wasn't about him. It was about everything that had come after that moment. She glanced at Jayla, who gave her a small smile, the kind of smile you give someone when you know what they've been through, because you were part of it. After the ceremony, Emma stepped off the field, heart pounding. She found a quiet hallway under the stands and took a deep breath. She remembered everything, the sting of that first phone call when she was fired, the sick fear in her chest when she realized she had no backup plan, the dizzying uncertainty of meeting Tom Brady in a coffee shop, the kids in Roxbury, the protests in Providence, the long nights, the failures, the wins. Her phone buzzed. A message from her mom. We saw you on TV, Dad cried, I'm so proud of you. She smiled. Slowly, tears filled her eyes, but not from sadness. They came from the weight of it all. The kind you carry after pushing through doubt, rejection, and fear. She walked outside into the crisp night air. Caleb was waiting for her by the loading dock. You handled that like a pro, he said, arms crossed, smiling. Emma shrugged. I still feel like the intern sometimes. Maybe. But you built something real. You made the call that changed everything. She looked up at the sky, thinking about the kid who had tripped that day. She never even got his name. But that moment had set it all in motion, a choice made in 3 seconds, and it rewrote the rest of her life. You know what's crazy? She said. I thought getting fired was the end, but it was the beginning. Caleb nodded. Funny how that works. Emma glanced back at the stadium, its lights glowing against the skyline. She wasn't just building youth centers anymore. She was mentoring a team, leading projects. Her name had weight in rooms that once ignored her. She wasn't chasing job titles, she was chasing change, and people followed her because of it. Later that night, she sat on her couch at home, legs curled beneath her, laptop open. Jayla had emailed her a video of kids singing in the new music room. Their voices were off-key and too loud, but it was perfect. She smiled and hit replay, and then quietly she opened a new document and started to write again. Not for a proposal or grant, but for herself, her story, the real one. The one nobody would tell unless she told it, because someone out there, another Emma maybe, was facing a moment like hers, staring down the cost of doing the right thing. And maybe, just maybe, they needed to know. Sometimes getting knocked down is just the first step toward becoming who you're meant to be. If this story resonated with you, even just a little, subscribe to the channel and click the video on screen right now. It was chosen just for you, and I promise you're going to love where it takes you next.